All right, this is our video lesson on the CASEL Learning Review Sheet for 1.6 and 1.7 for Algebra 1. All right, so number one, solve for x. We have 8x plus 9 equals 5x plus 6. This is a pretty easy question, so I'm going to go pretty fast through it. We want to get x's to one side, numbers on the other. There are several ways you can do this. I'm going to choose to subtract 5x from both sides, and we'll have 3x plus 9 equals 6. And then both sides will subtract 9 on both sides. And we have 3x equals negative 3 divided by 3 on both sides. And x is negative 1. So that's choice 1. Very easy question. All right, number 2, solve for x. I want to do this two ways. You should be able to be flexible with the two ways. So way 1 is x over 4 plus 7 equals 5. Way 1 is to think of, well, okay, I have x over 4, and I'm adding 7. Easy way I can remove the addition of 7 is to subtract 7 from both sides. So we get x over 4 equals negative 2. Now, I want to get x by itself. I'm dividing by 4, so the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. And if you do that, the 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is x. So we get x equals negative 8. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to actually multiply by the 4 first and get rid of the fraction. The only difference there is you need to remember to distribute that 4 to all of the terms. So some people like this because it clears out the fractions at the beginning. 4 times x over 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, or as Miss Sal says, divide then multiply. Do math. Divide, multiply. Divide 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is just x. Plus 4 times 7 is 28. Equals 4 times 5, which is 20. And subtracting 28 from both sides, you get x is negative 8. It's good to know both ways. All right, number 3, solving for x. 6 times x minus 2, in parentheses, minus 4x equals 16. Another very, straightforward question. We can distribute the 6 to the x and the minus 2 to get rid of the parentheses here. So we have 6x minus 12 minus 4x equals 16. I tell my students to, before you're going to go out, your mom makes you clean your room. You got to clean up both sides, and we have like terms. 6x minus 4x, we're combining the like terms to get 2x. So we get 2x minus 12 is 16. We're adding 12 on both sides. We're getting 2x equals 28. Dividing by 2, x is equal to 14. Choice 4. Oh, and I should, I guess, also go back and say number 2 was negative 8. Okay. Moving on here. Number 4, we're solving for x. We have 0.3x equals 0.01x plus 2.9. So we're subtracting 0.01x from both sides. 0.3, if you're in Ms. Zal's class, especially, not having a calculator, 0.30 minus 0.01. Can't take 1 away from 0, so we'll borrow. 10 minus 1 is 9. 2 minus 0 is 2, so this is negative 0.29. Negative 0.29x equals 2.9. We're divided by negative 0.29. Sorry, that decimal's in a weird spot there. And x is equal to negative 10. If you think about this for a minute, the way I look at this, without a calculator, 2.9, negative 0.29, I would multiply or move the decimals over once, twice, so both numbers become whole numbers. And that's the same thing as 290 divided by negative 29. Essentially what you're doing is you're multiplying top and bottom of the fraction by 100. And our answer's not there, so I goofed up. I don't know why I put a negative here. That's a positive. This is a positive. So this is a positive 10, which is the answer. So sorry about that. Number 4 is choice 3, positive 10. Number 5, we have 3x over 4 minus 1 equals 2. Again, 2 ways to approach this. Same thing as question 2, I believe. I can add 1 on both sides, and I would get 3x over 4 equals 3. I could then multiply by my 4 to get rid of the division by 4. It would cancel, and I would get 3x equals 12. And one more step, divide by 3, x is equal to 4. Or I could take that fraction originally, the equation originally, and multiply by 4 first. Either way works. Multiplying by 4, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Or you can do math, divide and then multiply. 4 divided by 4 is 1, times 3 is 3. Either way, you're going to get 3x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, equals 2 times 4 is 8. Add 4 on both sides, I would get 3x equals 12 again. Again, equivalent equations, divided by 3, and x is 4. So either way, we get 4. Number 6, solving for x. Another equation. Firstly, I would distribute the 4. So we would get 8x minus 4 equals 2x plus 35. And there's lots of ways to do this. I will add 4 to both sides this time. As long as you're making the next equation simpler, you're in a good spot. 8x equals 2x plus 39 minus 2x on both sides. And so we get, let me swing this down a bit, we get 6x equals 39, which is kind of ugly. I'm wondering if I wrote something down wrong. Let's take a look. And all right, it looks good so far. So it's just a matter of getting some decimals here. 39 divided by 6. Now, some of you might have a little trouble doing this. 39 divided by 6. Well, 6 goes into 39 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. So I get 3. And I really have, now I'm getting in my 10th spot. I'm taking 30 divided by 6, which is 5. And then we get 6.5. Another way to think of that is 39 over 6. Well, that's 36 over 6 plus 3 left over out of 6. So 36 over 6 is 6, and 3 over 6 is a half. So we get 6.5 or 6.5, which is choice 2. Number 7, which equation is equivalent to x plus 2y equals 6? Some kids have a really hard time understanding what this is asking. Look at the choices. They're all solved for y. So another way to say this, which equation is equivalent, is they really want us to solve for y. If you look at the choices, you can get a hint. I like to put a box around y and see what's bothering the y. So right now I have an addition of x. I'll subtract x on both sides, and I'll write 2y equals, if I notice all the x's are in the first spot, so I'm going to leave it like that. I want to write negative 1x plus 6, because there's really a negative 1 coefficient in front of the x. One last step, we'll divide everybody by 2. Okay? And y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Another way to do the division by 2, I show my class. So if we're at that last step, I divided both sides by 2. I share the love. And remember to distribute the 2 to both guys. It's really a distribution. And you'll get negative 1/2 x plus 3 that way. So you can divide them separately, or you can divide together. Remember to share the love. Choice 4 ends up being the answer. Number 8 says solve for x in terms of a, b, and c. We have ax minus 3b equals c. So we're solving for x. So I put a box around it, and I look at what's bothering the x. Well, I have this negative 3b term. So we're going to add 3b to both sides. So now I have ax equals c plus 3b. And I still have my x not by itself, but I'm multiplying some x by a. We'll divide by a on both sides. And this is where it's good to have one solid fraction bar instead of dividing separately, because we have our choice. X is c plus 3b over a is staring us in the face, choice 4. Number 9. Notice this 4 got cut off. It's really supposed to be in front of the equation here. So my equation is 4 times 2x plus 1 equals 27 plus 3 times 2x minus 5. And now we'll solve. Distributing on both sides here, we're going to get 8x plus 4 equals 27 plus 6x minus 15. And again, I use my analogy, before you go out with your friends or you're going to have your friends over, you got to clean your room. Same thing, you got to clean up both sides. Your 27 minus 15 is 12. 12 plus 6x. So we have 8x plus 4 equals 12 plus 6x. Subtract 6x on both sides. And we're going to get, we're going to get 2x plus 4 equals 12. Subtract 4 from both sides, we get 2x equals 8. Divide by 2, x is 4. There's my final answer, another choice 4. Seems to be a common theme here. All right, number 10. Okay, number 10. There we go. If x plus ay equals b, then y is equal to. So again, we're adding that x, subtract that x to get it away. So now I have ay equals b minus x. And last step, divide both sides by a. And so y is b minus x over a, which is choice 1. That was easy at this point. Number 11, another solve for x. 2 times x plus 1 in parentheses equals 3 times 4 minus x. Distribute on both sides. We get 2x plus 2 equals 12 minus 3x. This time I'll add 3x to both sides. And we get 5x plus 2 equals 12. Subtracting by 2 on both sides, we get 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. And x equals 2. Choice 2. All right, number 12. We have 4x plus y equals h. X is equal to. So we can subtract by y on both sides. We get 4x equals h minus y. And we'll divide by 4. Looking at the choices, it looks like they have a big fraction bar, so I won't share the love here. We have x is h minus y all over 4, which is choice 4. Number 13, we're solving for x. We have 8x minus 7 equals 5 times parentheses x minus 2. Distribute your 5, so we have 8x minus 7 equals 5x minus 10. And we're subtracting 5x from both sides. And we have 3x minus 7 equals negative 10. Whoops. We're going to add 7 to both sides. And we have 3x equals negative 3 divided by 3. X equals negative 1. And hopefully I'm right. I don't see my choice up there. And it is. Great. Choice 2. All right, number 14, solving for x. We have 2/3 x minus 6 equals 14. Add 6 to both sides. We have 2/3 x equals 20. And a few ways you could handle this. You could multiply by 3 on both sides and then divide by 2. Another way to handle this is to multiply by right off the bat by the reciprocal fraction times 3 over 2. You can handle it that way. That's the quick way. That's a quicker way to handle it. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, and you get your x quickly that way. Now on the other side, we could multiply 20 times 3 and then divide by 2. A little easier is to do math here. Divide, then multiply. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 times 3 is 30. X equals 30 is your answer. Number 15. Solving for x, 1.2x minus 0.8 equals 1.6. Adding 0.8 to both sides, we get 1.2x equals 2.4, divided by 1.2, and x equals 2. Final answer. 16, solving for x, 5x over 6 minus 2 equals 8. This time, I'll clear out my fractions. It doesn't matter. There are multiple ways to do this. I want to multiply by 6 just to show you a different way to do this one. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 divided by 6 gives me back to 5. Or you can think of it, 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 2 is negative, well, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. 8 times 6 is 48. Add 12 to both sides. We get 5x equals 60. And then we're going to divide by 5, and x is equal to 12 again. Choice 4. Number 17. 17 is a little trickier. We're given a over x plus 1 equals c over x. And we're asking for an expression for x in terms of c and a. I really don't like the fractions in this problem. So we're going to multiply through by the x. Kind of how in the last problem we just multiplied through by 6. Kind of how in the last problem we just multiplied through by 6. To kill the 6 in the denominator, I have x as the denominator. So we can multiply by x. That's a little foreign to some people, but we can do it. X times a divided by x. Well, x divided by x is 1. 1 times a is a. So out of that, we just get an a. Plus x times 1 is x. And the x's here also cancel. X divided by x is 1 times c is c. One more step to get x by itself. We'll subtract a from both sides. And so x is now c minus a. Number 18, it says if 9x plus 2a equals 3a minus 4x, then x is equal to. Well, I want to get my x's. My x's are in two places. That's not good. So I'm going to try to get them into one place by adding 4x to both sides. And then I'll have 13x plus 2a equals 3a. And that's a lot easier because now my x is in one spot. So I want to get my x by itself, subtracting 2a. We get 13x here equals 3a minus 2a is just a, or 1a. And I'll take and divide by 13 here, and I get x is just a over 13, which is a lot simpler than what we started with. Choice 4. 19, it says, what is the value of x in this equation? 3 over 4x plus 2 equals 5 over 4x minus 6. Again, I want to get rid of these 4s. We can multiply through by 4. 4 times 3 over 4 is 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1, times 3 is 3. If you do math, divide, then multiply. Or you can multiply and then divide. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Plus 4 times 2 is 8 equals, same thing, distributing the 4. 4 times 5/4 is 5. 4 times 6 is 24. So here's our equation now. I'll do this one a little differently. I'll subtract 3x on both sides. We'll get 8 equals 2x minus 24. Add 24 onto both sides, and we get 32 equals 2x. Divided by 2, x equals 16. Final answer, choice 2. Choice 2. And number 20, we have x over 5 plus x over 2 equals 14. So now I don't have one number in the denominator. I have two numbers in the denominator. So if you want to figure out what number is going to clear them, one quick way to do it is to take your denominators and multiply them. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 is a number that divides into 5 and 2. Or rather, 2 divides into 10, and 5 divides into 10. So I want to multiply everything by 10 here. And if I distribute my 10, I can do math. Divide, then multiply. 10 divided by 5 is 2. There's really a 1 in front of the x. 2 times 1 is 2. And then we have our x. Plus, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. And so we have 5x. Equals 14 times 10 is 140. That's much easier now. 2x plus 5x is 7x. Equals 140. And one more step. We're dividing by 7. And so now x is equal to 20. X is equal to 20, which is choice 3. 21, the formula for the volume of a right circular cylinder is V equals pi r squared times h. And we want h to be expressed as, so the directions here, the value of h can be expressed as, really means to solve for h. You want to get h by itself. Notice the choices don't have h in them. So we're looking at how to get h by itself. And if I look, I have pi times r squared times h. Everything is being multiplied together. So because of that, to undo multiplication, I can divide, and I can do it all at once. I can divide by pi r squared all at once, because pi r squared is being multiplied by h. And so now h is equal to v over pi r squared. And that is choice 2. 22, which is the value of x for this equation? And again, we can play the game of clearing the denominators out. So I have 5, 3, and 15. If I take my two smaller numbers, 5 times 3 is 15. So 15 will clear all the denominators out because it'll clear a 5, it'll clear a 3, and it'll clear a 15. So I'll multiply everything by 15. So I have 15. Now you can do this two ways. You can do math, divide, then multiply. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Or you can do 15 times 2 first. 15 times 2 is 30. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Either way. 15 times a third, do math. Divide first. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Equals, now here is interesting. The 15 is being multiplied and divided here. So I can just divide that out to 1, and nothing inside the parentheses gets affected. We're not actually distributing. We're actually getting rid of the 15 before we even have to distribute. And we're creating a 1, and when you distribute a 1, you just get what's ever left inside parentheses. So that's 7x minus 2. So next step, we'll subtract 6x from both sides. And so we get 5 equals 1x, or just x, minus 2. One more step here. Hold on one second. My smartboard is being fidgety. Okay, there we go. And I'll add 2 to both sides. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 equals x, or 1x. And we're at choice 4 here. All right, and we got one more here to do. Debbie solved the linear equation. It should read 3 times x plus 4 minus 2 equals 16 as follows. So line 1, we have, I'm going to rewrite this. We have 3 times x plus 4 minus 2 equals 16. Then the next step is 3 times x plus 4 equals 18. And I'm wondering what she did. She didn't distribute the 3 first, which is okay. She actually added 2 to both sides, which is legal. Then, so here's your line 1, here's your line 2. Line 3 is 3x plus 4 with no parentheses equals 18. That I don't like because the 3 got distributed to the x, but the 3 never got distributed to the 4. So this should not be a 4. It should be 3 times 4, which is 12. So she made the error between lines 2 and 3. And the error was she forgot to distribute correctly. And that's it. All right, so that's the video. You also have the other video by Ms. Zal, the other review sheet. And happy studying.